Good morning. It is 5:17 of 24, and it is about 10 minutes to 12, which is an earlier time than I usually eat. However, I went roller skating this morning, hence the red face and pouring sweat, which you can't really see very well, but that's okay. And so I'm hungry. I really should have eaten before I left. I probably would have skated longer if I had eaten, but I really felt like I was like fatigued, like I didn't have enough nutrients in me to kind of like keep me going. So I'll remember that for next time that I really should eat, even though I'm not hungry, because it's at 10 a.m. So I'd have to eat at like 9 to 9:30, and I'm never hungry usually at that time. So I'll remember that I do need to eat. My plan for my first meal today, and I will probably eat two just because I did go roller skate and I'm gonna need a few more nutrients. And the last 2 days I have, kind of been lower on the on my calorie intake. So my plan for today is to take a poblano pepper that all of these ingredients were just ingredients that I had on hand. So that's kind of how I made this. So I had a poblano pepper. I cut off the top quarter of it to make myself like a cavity. And then I stuffed it with 2 ounces of cream cheese, probably a quarter of a can, so 1 ounce of diced green chilies. And then I added block cheese, which was smoked Gouda and sharp cheddar, again, just what I had on hand. And then I wrapped it in, it took 3 pieces of bacon to get wrapped around the whole thing. And I'm just going to cook that in my air fryer. I cooked it in my air fryer for about 13 minutes. This is a pretty big poblano pepper. So it was the whole pepper. I just cut a quarter off. So it's pretty big. Yours, if you do this, it might not take as long just because it might not be so big. So I'm gonna go ahead and eat this. I will be adding salt to this. It is a pretty salty dish. So I'm not just, okay, well, I'm gonna add, say, a quarter teaspoon. Just I don't want it to taste bad, right? So I will just kind of sprinkle some salt on if I can handle it, because it is a pretty salty dish, just because I know that I need to have more salt in my diet. I'll be back later with my second meal. Hello again. It is time for my second meal of the day. I'm not extremely hungry, but I'm worried because I've had so few calories over the last couple days, and then with going skating, I'm a little worried about my calorie counts for today. So I'm going to eat. I'm not like really full. I know I can eat. It's about 4:30. But I want to eat now and then maybe eat again later, just to kind of make sure that I'm getting enough calories for the day. I'm super excited though, because I'm going to try a keto recipe that I've been wanting to try, and just like it just hasn't fit into my like menu for the day. So I'm excited to try this. It is like a cheese bread that I don't know how else to describe it. I'm going to eat it like oh, what are they called? Like breadsticks that you would get from like the a pizza place. That's how I'm going to eat it. So, okay, here we go. So I'm preheating my oven to 350 degrees, and I'm going to use half a cup of shredded mozzarella cheese. So my half cup measuring cup, and that's not gonna work. I'm gonna have to just pour it in, which makes a mess. I don't like it. I don't like messes. Messes are not my friend. All right, so there we go. Get this cleaned up a bit. And then I need a half cup of my shredded Parmesan. And I think you could probably use, like, I could probably use all mozzarella or all, whatever this is called, Parmesan. I'm not 100% sure that like you have to use this mix of cheeses. That's just the recipe that I'm using, so I'm going to use it. But I did have a little less Parmesan than my full 2 cups, so I am going to add a little bit more just to make sure that my ratios are okay. And I'm going to add in, the recipe called for a tablespoon of garlic powder, but that just seems like a lot to me. So wrong one. I'm gonna add a half teaspoon and a half teaspoon of onion powder so that it has a little more depth of flavor. So I got my half teaspoon in there, and then I'm gonna get a half teaspoon of my onion powder. So basically I'm putting in a third of the amount of seasoning that the original recipe calls for. Maybe I'll regret it. I don't know. A tablespoon seems like an awful lot. And then the last one I want is some Italian seasoning. So I'm going to get that in there too. And then I need an egg. And then I'll wash my hands and get this mixed up. All right, break up that yolk. Get these all mixed together. I chose one that kind of had like the fewest amount of ingredients. Some of them, like you have to add flour or you have to add like cornstarch or I don't know, all the other things that you might add. I just chose a recipe that was really just with what I had on hand and was the easiest. Okay, I think that looks good. So I've got my parchment lined baking sheet. And I'm gonna get this on there. And then you're supposed to spread it out so it's kind of like a pizza crust. It didn't really say like how thick I was supposed to make it. So I'm just gonna kind of guess. I think I don't want it really thin, but I don't think I want it very thick either. I think I want it to have some heft to it, but I think if it's too thick, it's not gonna turn out. So I'm just gonna kind of spread it like this. And I could be completely wrong too. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna try it anyway. Okay, in the picture that the person who I got the recipe from, their picture like looked like there was a lot more than this. So I don't know if I have it thinned out or I don't have it thinned out enough, or if like their picture just made it look bigger than it was. But this seems to be quite a bit smaller than what they had. So I'm a little concerned, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. All right, I'm gonna wait until my oven is preheated to that 350. And the instructions say to bake it for some period of time. I'll have to look. I'll have to look. I don't remember. I want to say it's probably about 10 minutes. And then you turn on the broiler and move it up so that it can get browned on top. While I'm waiting, I'm going to go ahead and mix together my pizza sauce. I want to add some chia seeds to this because I know I don't have enough fiber today. And even with these chia seeds, I'm only going to get to like 6 or 7 grams of fiber. So I know I am low on fiber. I'm hoping that the extra salt like helps it, enough that I don't have any issues with that. All right. So I want a quarter cup. This is a half cup. That's not what I want. I want a quarter cup. There we go. And then I'm going to add my tablespoon of, maybe if I can get it open. There we go. Chia seeds to it too. And then mix this up. I like to mix it together like I'm doing it right now instead of like just before I eat, because I like to give those chia seeds a bit of a chance to absorb a bit of that liquid. It helps to thicken the sauce a bit, and just it's a little more pleasant to eat the chia seeds once they've kind of plumped up a little bit. So I'll just leave this off to the side. Okay, I will show you what it looks like once it comes out of the oven. All right, so I was supposed to bake it for 15 minutes. I have done that. This is what it looks like. It is starting to get brown on the edges, but I needed to brown some more. So I'm going to turn on that broiler and let it cook for a couple more minutes. So this is what it looks like after, oh, it was about 3 minutes, I think, in there. I have just taken the parchment place paper and moved it over to my plate to allow it to kind of cool, not be just sitting on that hot pan. I feel like, it doesn't say this in the recipe, but I feel like we need to allow it to like cool off a little bit before we cut it, just because otherwise I think it's just going to kind of all melt back together. So I'm going to kind of wait for that, and then I'm going to cut it up, and then I'll give it a try. Okay, they are pretty firm. I'm kind of surprised that they're not just all melty all over. I guess that's what the egg does. And I've got my sauce. I'm just going to dip it in. It's pretty good. Um, I think I would like a little more of the garlic in it. The flavor is there, but I do think that I would want a little bit more. I don't think I would still go to a full tablespoon, but maybe I would use like a full teaspoon. No, I did use a full teaspoon. So maybe 2 teaspoons, which is 2/3 of a full tablespoon. I still feel like a full tablespoon is going to be a little too much, but maybe not. Maybe I'll just make it with a full tablespoon and see what happens. I have finished my second meal, but I did not eat all of it. I only ate maybe half of it at most. It was a bit dry. And so, even with the sauce, it still felt dry to me. It may have been better had I not let it rest for those 3 minutes. Like maybe if you kind of cut it up and eat it right away, then maybe it would have been better. I'm not sure. I feel like it would be really good as a pizza crust, so I might try it again, like in that way, or maybe just try one of the other recipes to see if I can find something that just isn't so dry, or find some way to make it less dry in there, like maybe adding some butter. I'm not sure. So I only ate, like I said, not even half of it. So I'm going to log that, and I will definitely be eating another meal today because that was only, I think, like 200 or 250 calories. And I definitely will need more. I am back with my third meal, which is going to be a factor meal because I just wanted something easy. So it is spicy poblano beef bowl with roasted broccoli rice and scallion sour cream. So the rice is just broccoli. There's no rice in it. It looks okay. I don't know if you nah, you can't see it. It looks a little greasy, to be honest. I'm which I know on keto you can have a lot of fat. That's fine. I'm not sure that I will enjoy it that much because of it. The broccoli is probably, I would say it's about half a cup of chopped broccoli, um, which is gonna have quite a few, well, it's gonna have like 3 carbs in it. Um, I guess that's not too bad. I'm not sure that I wanna eat all of it considering that this is my 3rd meal of the day, right? And so I'm gonna be a little higher in my carbs anyway. Although when I didn't eat all the zucchini, I was like, I should have just eaten all of the zucchini. So maybe I will. I'm not a fan of cooked broccoli, so I may not eat any of it, but I am going to try it. Just like because you should just try things, right? So I'm gonna try some of the broccoli. I'll get enough on there to like get a bite, and some of the poblano beef. And then it actually comes with a scallion, here we go, a scallion sour cream. So I'm just going to put a little bit on there just so I can try it. Um, and then once I know if I like it, I'll change I won't like build every bite, right? The flavor is really good. I am very impressed with the amount of flavor that they were able to get into this. I forgot my salt. I'm going to have to go get my salt. Not because it necessarily needs salt, but just I think it could use a little bit. But again, I'd rather have it need a little salt than have too much salt. So I will add that, but the flavor is actually really, really good on this one. I don't taste the broccoli, which is probably fantastic. So I will just kind of load it into the side that has like the meat mixture and top it with a bit of the sour cream. I do wish there was something a little more fresh, like maybe some lettuce If I had some lettuce, I would probably put some on here. So something like that to just give it a little more freshness, I think is what I would enjoy. All right, so I'm going to finish my meal and then I'll come back and we will go through the effects of my day. All right, so these are my numbers for today. I can't really trust them because I ate the factor meal, but I didn't eat all of it. I ate all of the main portion, but I only ate about 3/4 of the broccoli rice, and I didn't eat the sour cream mixture. It tasted fine on its own, but I didn't like it with the rest of the meal. And then I did add, I found in my refrigerator, I found some cilantro. So I did chop some of that up and I put it on top. I'm not going to enter that here because I think my carbs are already higher than they like I'm sorry, are lower than what are showing in Fat Secret because I didn't eat all of the food that I have logged. So I'm not going to log the cilantro. I'm going to guess that this is pretty close to what I had, but obviously a little bit higher because I didn't eat all of the food. So my calorie count is higher today, which I'm glad for because I do feel like I was a little in a bit of a calorie deficit, which you want a calorie deficit if you're losing weight, but that is not my goal. And I wanted to make sure that I'm healthy. So with all of the energy that I expended in skating today, I wanted to make sure I was like replenishing my body. So I feel fine about what I've got there. My sodium intake is plenty high. My net carbs, like I said, are a little higher than I would like, but not bad at all. Under 50 is fine. And really, I'd like to keep it around 20. And like I said, it's probably higher than what I actually had anyway because I didn't eat all of that factor meal. So if we look at my macros today, my protein is 24%. I want to have it between like 25 and 30. So it's a little low because again, I know it's going to be a little bit lower because I didn't eat all my food, but we'll just say that it's close enough. So that's my day today, and maybe I'll see you tomorrow.